What happens in Vegas doesn't always stay in Vegas. The CEO of Wynn Resorts says he's seriously considering moving his company's headquarters overseas. Steve Wynn explaining President Obama's policies are putting up roadblocks to creating jobs right here in America. Is he right? Hi, everybody. I'm Cheryl Casoni. Welcome to Cashin In. Our Cashin In crew this week: Wade Rogers, Jonathan Honig, Jonas Max Ferris, along with Tracy Burns and John Layfield. And joining us this week from opednews.com, Steve Laser. Welcome to everybody. So, Wayne, you know, Steve Wynn is a friend of yours. Do you think that he's right about this?
Well, he's one of the brightest guys there is in the gambling business. There's no doubt about that. You know, he spends more, for example, on training his employees than any other hotel in Las Vegas. He's talking about moving to Macau for tax reasons, and I think he's right in the sense that if he sees an administration that is burdening his industry and they're going to do it, and you talk about people driving jobs overseas, that's exactly what's going to happen when people do this. You know, high taxes for anything, it's going to destroy, and it's not anti-competitive.
A great example, Steve, small businesses. I mean, if you file as an LLC, you're going to be paying higher taxes come next year. That's another reason to leave the country.
Well, one thing I agree with Wayne about is that Steve Wynn is a really bright guy. But it's funny that the week that he chose to make this statement is the week that that Gallup came out with a report that said 1.5 million people who were either unemployed or underemployed got jobs in the last 30 days. So the indications are that that Obama's policies are working, and there's big movement right now in the jobs situation.
But we're not seeing it. I mean, high tech in particular. Intel CFO was recently interviewed, and she said that if the administration doesn't do more to educate our people and to give us incentives to stay, high-tech jobs are leaving. They're building a new plant in China, opening at the end of the year. So where's the incentive to keep companies here in the States?
Jonathan, look at regulatory reform. I mean, is anybody going to be looking for a job in the financial sector in the next 12 months?
Well, of course, and regulations are going to go up, Cheryl. Taxes are going to go up, and that's a real impediment for business. I mean, there's a big history of this, both overseas and in the U.S. I mean, companies like Neighbors Industries and Tyco and Seagate Technologies in the last decade have all left the U.S. It's very common in the U.K. Even the Rolling Stones, of course, left for tax reasons back in the early 1970s. So, yes, Cheryl, and as a big impediment on where companies choose to do business, what hurts me more is the president's attitude. Forget the tax code, his attitude that business is inherently corrupt, that they'd screw you at the first opportunity, as he said in the speech this week. I think that's even more damaging long term.
Well, you know, John Layfield, I mean, Steve Wynn is pretty much at this point the only executive in the gambling industry anyway that's looking to go overseas. But remember, I mean, look at somebody like Barney Frank. He wants to bring back internet gambling so he can tax it. I mean, this doesn't help Steve Wynn, doesn't help any of those guys.
Look, Wayne is right about everything. Steve Wynn is a brilliant guy, and this tax policy of this administration. Look, if you are alive, you are going to pay more taxes next year. If you have anything around you, it is going to be taxed to excess. This naive, childlike administration that thinks they can create this government utopia where the government runs everything and everybody's happy, it just doesn't work in the real world. None of them have ever run a business. They don't know that, and the only way to pay for that is through these massive deficits and this unfunded surplus, this unfunded liabilities, which are greater than Zimbabwe right now, which will never be met.
Jonas, he's making, again, Steve Wynn is making the tax argument. Does he have a point?
Well, first of all, it's in his best interest running a casino in America to have it tax internet gambling. Internet gambling is often based offshore. It's stealing business from Las Vegas and good places like Atlantic City. So I bet you Steve Wynn would be all for those taxes. I don't think what you were saying made any sense. Now, as far as he's not talking about moving his business abroad because there's cheaper labor costs in China. The casinos are going to be here making lots of money. He doesn't want to pay taxes here. What is that? You're gonna make money in America. It's good enough to make money here, but you want to move your tax business somewhere else. I'm not big on the whole Patriot thing because I outsource a lot of coding abroad because it's cheaper for labor reasons. But I'm not going to go make money here and move myself abroad to pay taxes somewhere. I think that's a little ridiculous in my opinion.
Wait, Jonas,
China is better than America. Please, from a job point of view,
what a Benedict Arnold you are, Jonas.
I hope he moves there and China takes a stake in his business like they've done all the other businesses out in China. That'll teach him a lesson about America. Yeah.
I mean, look, I think there's a bigger point here. The bigger point is that we're not trying to help our own U.S. companies. We're actually trying to hurt them, as it seems, in the end. We're coming down on them with high taxes. We're crushing small businesses. Taxing a small business that reports their business on their personal tax return is going to be killer in the next couple of years. And what does that do for growth of this economy?
Wayne?
Well, there's a fundamental thing here, too, that I think we're missing, and that is that regulation, top-down regulation, does not create jobs. It's competition in a free market that creates jobs. And as a matter of fact, one of the things I'm specifically worried about is, Steve, is whether or not you're going to be able to fit into a dress in time to come back, because you made a bet that said we'd be, in the next 2 to 4 months, 7.5%. We're nowhere there. Yeah, you're coming back as Klinger, and I got to see that.
Steve,
well, I know
Steve,
you want to see. Yeah, I'm sorry, Sean. I know you want to see that, Wayne, but I'm very encouraged by the Gallup report that just came out. If you look at their job creation index, most of the people that they're polling are saying that companies are hiring rather than firing. I'm actually pretty optimistic.
Steve, you got like 60 days. Are you kidding me? You better start ironing that dress, babe.
120 days. It was August. I'm not out shopping for dresses just yet.
You can borrow one of mine.
Yeah, Tracy, I'll be happy to help you, Steve.
I'm gonna get one from Kleinfeld that'll fit.
There you go.
Way to go on that
Very good
one.
plug.
You know what, Wayne, I have to go back to just real quick, because you do know Steve Wynn so well. Do you think at the end of the day this is just a ploy for him to try and get maybe better tax breaks for his company, for the other gambling companies that have had a tough time over the last year?
No, it's not a ploy. He is genuinely discouraged, I think, and that's what he's saying. And he's saying, yes, there are advantages in being in Macau. It's a bigger. In other words, it's a lot easier to bring Vegas to Asia than it is to bring Asians to Vegas.
But it's not just Vegas.
Over there and do it.
It's not just
what's that?
But it's
Jonathan?
Yeah. It's not just gambling. I mean, again, go to the UK, where a lot of financial businesses are leaving because of their prohibitively high tax rates. I mean, Cheryl, money is as fluid now as literally the press of a button. You can move millions, not to mention incorporate new companies. Why would you want to do business in a society like ours, where business is so explicitly made the enemy? I'm not surprised he's considering
But he's
leaving.
doing business in Nevada. That's what I'm saying.
All right, well, we're going to leave it there, guys. Thanks so much to all of you. Coming up, thought the fight over government-run healthcare was over? Think again. We may have just discovered D.C.'s new plan for a complete